Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Investor Guys podcast. I'm Kevin Mills, and this is Bill Barnett. How are you doing, Bill?
I'm doing incredibly, sir. And as we refer to the show offline, the technology home case.
Oh, but then they don't see any of those trials and tribulations we have to go through.
Which is a good thing.
Yes. One thing that we wanted to point out really quick, I always say the Investor Guys podcast, but our website is investorguyspodcast.com. So investorguyspodcast.com. If you go there, you can find all of the shows that we have done. We've just started season 3. We don't really have like an official way of notating seasons or anything else, but we figured since this is going into a new year, we'd start a season number 3. So we have 3 seasons technically now. We are on episode 160 something, 62, 63, something like that. And we're just going to keep on doing this until they drag us kicking and screaming in our wheelchairs to the old investor's home.
Yep, I agree with that completely. And I hear them outside the door rattling chains from time to time, and I shoo them away. So
yes, usually those are my children, though, but trying to get me out of there also. We've been doing a series. One of the things that Bill and I have discussed and committed to is providing more housing for the housing need that we have for low-income housing. Bill's committed to it. I'm committed to it. I'd like to see as many of you out there watching us commit to it as possible. And one of the things I'm going to be bringing up to other investors and other people that I work with as I see them over this course of the year is doing the same thing, is providing low-income housing. And we've already discussed how we can make money doing low-income housing. So we're not going to discuss that today's show. Go watch our previous shows if you haven't already seen that. This is a niche that has a need for it. That means we can make money on it. There's multiple different ways to make money on it. We've already talked about it. Last show, we talked about doing container homes, shipping container, multifamily. Now, shipping containers is a form of modular building, okay? But it is using shipping containers, it is repurposing shipping containers. Great show. Check that out. That was last Thursday's show. Today, I'm going to talk about modular homes specifically. And I've got a lot of images. So we're going to start with the images really quick. A lot of people hear modular homes and they're thinking mobile homes like what you would see in a trailer park. Now, yes, those are modular homes, but this is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about properties that come together in pieces like giant Legos, but look like a house, like a stick-built house, look like a stick-built apartment building, look like a stick-built commercial property. And I think what I'm going to do probably first off is show a couple of pictures of the construction of these properties, just to give people an idea of what we're looking at and what we're talking about. And hang on just a second here as I cue this up. And of course it didn't pop up. There it goes. So this is the type of units that we're looking at, okay? And you've seen these on the backs of trucks. If you travel on the freeways, you've seen these pieces. They're half of a house. This is what people would consider like half of a double wide. But if you look, there's already part of this structure sitting there. And now, again, as I get into some of these other pictures and some of these other images, you're going to see that they don't look like double wide trailers. They don't look like mobile homes. They don't look like this is an excellent graphic here. And it shows how modular buildings come together. Now, this could have been shipping containers just as easily as
absolutely.
A modular unit, okay? You can literally see on the right side how they stack in, and those little blue squares that you see, those are fascias that are going on, okay? And you can see the doors cut in the side of each one of these so that they can, that's a hallway. They can go down the hallway. These are offices, or they could be apartments. They could be a hotel. And actually, I've got a graphic of a modular hotel that we're going to look at in just a little bit. But this is an excellent graphic that shows how they come together. And we can put anything in front. They've got little blue siding here. You can do stone fascia, you can do brick fascia, you could do siding, you could do stucco, you could do just about anything on the outside at all. Again, we can see them going up here. This is a modular building. You can see just like Lego blocks literally stacking up. They come with the Tyvek on the outside. If you know what Tyvek is, it's part of the insulation process. It's also a vapor barrier. This is back to the image we just saw again. Look at this. This is a commercial or residential building. You can see the garages at the bottom. Okay. This is a 2-story residential building. You can see that entire modular. It's going on just, it goes right on. It comes already with the windows. It comes with the electrical and the plumbing and everything ready to go. The interiors are already in these properties. You don't have to have somebody come in and put up drywall or anything else. The drywall's already done. Oftentimes, if there's carpet, the carpet will be pre-cut and rolled up inside of the unit. All you have to do is get a carpet guy to come in and stretch it and tack it all down. It makes for a really quick, fast, easy way of putting these properties together. You can see this one again. This is a modular unit going on top of basically like a puzzle piece. And I think
so there's a great YouTube video, because Elon Musk is involved in this as well. And there's a great YouTube video of this design that he's put together that literally comes on the back of a truck, and much like these do. It comes on the back of a truck, and then they set it down and it unfolds. And they literally, the longest part of the process is pouring the foundation and the foundation curing. Once you call them and say, okay, foundation's ready to go, they come out, and in one day, and that's the case so many times on single family with these or on a duplex, in one day, they're move-in ready. And so once your foundation is poured and cured on the Elon Musk deal, they bring it out, and it takes them a number of hours to have it where the plumbing's functional, the wiring, the electrical is completely functional. The house is totally set up and ready to move in. It is a great. So just if you YouTube Elon Musk modular housing, you can find that video. It's 15 or 20 minutes, but incredibly fascinating.
And if you look at this, you can see that the balcony is already part of the modular unit. And if you look at where this cube is going, there is a patio door there already. You can see that this already has the windows in it. It already has the patio door. Obviously, they've got it covering on the patio door because they don't want to break that. Okay. But when that cube goes in, it's going to match up to the patio door that's on the cube next to it, just like the one below it. And you see the gentleman on top of the building. He's going to guide it in place. He's going to make sure it sits down exactly where it sits down. And then they're going to be able to match up the electrical, the plumbing, the sewer lines, everything else. And this building will be done in a matter of days. And this is a big building. This will be done in a matter of days versus a matter of weeks, which is what you'd be spending if you're doing this as a stick-built project. Remember, we are saving money by getting this done faster. We are saving money because these cubes are being built in a factory. There's no waste. We don't have anybody coming and stealing materials off of the site. We don't have our materials open to the elements, the rain, the heat, the snow, everything else that's going on. These things are literally coming, like Bill said, on the back of a truck. They call it a lowboy. The crane picks it up, puts it into place. People make sure that it's secured, and then they put the plumbing together. The plumbing comes with quick connects. The electrical comes with connectors. Everything is just literally plug and play. And I think this is back where we started. So we are coming up on a break. And what we're going to do when we get back is I'm going to show you, just to give you an idea, I'm going to show you some single family residences that are modular. And then we're going to go into multifamily. But before we show you the single family, I'm going to tell you about 2 different developments that I myself did that were entirely modular and worked out great. We'll be back in just a second. And we are back. And today we're talking about using modular construction to build low-income housing. And again, I'm doing lots of images on this one because people have this thing in their head about modular homes that they all look like mobile homes. They all look like double wides. They all look like the trailer park. And that's just not the case. I want to jump in really quick with a couple more images, but let me hear some of your experiences really quick before we load those up, Bill.
Well, I'm just getting into containers. So I haven't had a lot of modular experience. but it absolutely is a fabulous way to be able to look at controlling cost. And part of the control of the cost is speed. If I can get it done faster, then I'm paying less interest on my money. I'm therefore likely to be on the market marketing a lesser amount of time because I'm getting a head start. So I can save money in multiple different ways of doing that. And a lot of people resist this because it's just different. And I urge you to get onto YouTube and start, and the internet in general, but I love YouTube. So get onto YouTube and start looking at the myriad of videos on each of these different types, on container homes, on modular homes, that you start looking at alternative forms of construction. And there's some really detailed, great information there so that you can be able to look at, is this something that fits your investing style? Is this something that fits the community where you are? And if it does, man, jump all over it. We're moving forward with this stuff. And so we suggest that you take a hard, serious look at it to do the same for yourself.
Now, I have done two residential developments using modular homes, and they're modular homes like the ones we're getting ready to show you. Both of them, ironically, were here in Florida, but you can do this in any state in the United States. They are not allowed to discriminate against your project because it is a modular unit. These units are actually stronger and more effective than a stick-built anything, because this is being built in a factory, and we call it screwed and glued because in addition to just using screws, they're also using heavy-duty construction adhesive on everything, literally on the drywall. When they throw it up on the walls, they throw beads of adhesive onto those studs, then they lay the drywall down, and then they screw that into the adhesive. This thing is strong enough to sit on the back of a truck, a lowboy truck on the freeway at 60 miles an hour. It is definitely going to stand up to a tornado, a hurricane, some windstorms, some snowstorms, whatever it is. The other thing that I really love about these bills is when you walk in, because these are built in the factory, all the lines are straight. The lines along the ceiling are straight. The door frames are straight. The trim is straight. Everything is straight because it is built on a jig in a factory. It's not people just slapping stuff together, on site. It is literally built in a factory. So you've got that, I don't want to say perfection, but it's almost perfection. It's those straight lines. Just the finish on them is remarkable. And I like that. It's one of my favorite things about doing modular. Now, this is a great looking home. It's a modular home. Bill,
absolutely is. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, this looks like a typical home for Florida, typical home for California, typical home for a lot of different places. This is modular. This is a modular home. This is actually in Louisiana, 2-story modular home. This looks like it could easily be modular, but not an unappealing looking house. It does not look like a mobile home to me. It does not look like a double wide.
Right.
This is a modular home.
Wow.
This is the type of thing that you would see all over in Texas.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe a different exterior, probably be brick or stone, but that type of a look. This is a modular home.
Love that, man. Love that.
And again, you could go from traditional. I've got a colonial looking property in here. Traditionally, you can look modern. You can look whatever you want. I've seen plans for Victorian homes that are modular. Again, modular, very, very modern looking. And easy to see how this would be perfectly suited for modular. We're talking about a very, very open floor plan. Easy to build this, put it on the back of a truck, and ship it to where it's going in pieces. Modular home. This is something, looks like it's set in the mountains. I see the mountains in the background. Big Bear, Arrowhead, nice. Aspen, Vale, Park City, who knows? Yep. Modern looking right here. This looks like it's got stucco on the outside of it, maybe even concrete. Again, they have, and I see this in Florida all the time that I moved here to Florida, they literally have concrete cinder block modular homes. I don't know how they drag these things down the freeway, but I've seen them on the freeway. These are giant concrete modular shells that they're taking someplace to build for a modular type of unit. This finish could have been applied later, or it could have come already like this.
Mm-hmm.
Very traditional.
You could put any kind of exterior on these, any kind of elevation that you want, you can put on these. They are not limited because of their construction in any way. So
Right.
you can make them look as traditional or non-traditional as you want.
Very traditional looking one on the screen. And we can actually see two different exteriors on here. We can see the brick on the front and we can see the siding on the side. We see a lot of this in plain states, like where Bill is. We see the brick on the front and we see siding on the sides.
Yep.
But very traditional. This one right here, this should be familiar to anybody who has been in San Antonio. Okay, this used to be the Holiday Inn. It is now the Hilton. This was built.
The Riverwalk.
The Riverwalk, exactly, in San Antonio. This was built. This is entirely modular, and if you look at it, you can see how it would have easily be made, and built in a modular fashion. Each one of these squares was a different unit. There's pictures on the internet. If you Google it, there's pictures on the internet of this thing being built. And you can actually see these squares being hoisted up. You can see the void in the middle that they used for the hallway. It's a fun, interesting building. This was built for the World's Fair. I don't even remember when the World's Fair was. I think it was back in the 60s in San Antonio. They've been doing modular for a long time. This is a modular hotel that is still in existence. If you're in San Antonio, or if you've ever been to San Antonio, you have seen this because it overlooks the Riverwalk. We are back to the first slide, and we're going to, we're up for a break actually. So let me go ahead and pull Bill and I back up here. This is to me, one of my favorite things. And again, the shipping containers that we talked about last week fit perfect into this same strategy because they are modular. Yep. Well, I love it because they go together so fast. It saves so much time, which means it saves money. It saves materials, which means it saves money. And we are repurposing, in a lot of cases, like the shipping containers, materials as well. One of the things that I liked about it, that the first time I ever went to the factory, what they explained to me is, your boards, if you're going to a building supply place, and that's where we're getting these materials if we're stick building it, they come in 8-foot, 10-foot, 12-foot pieces. But let's say we need a 9-foot piece. Let's say we're building something that's 9 feet. That means we are cutting off 1 foot on hundreds or thousands even of pieces of timber, and that 1 foot is going to waste. That 1 foot goes in the scrapyard, and it's never used. Because they are building this and they know exactly what they need, they order 9-foot pieces from the mill. So they're coming in 9-foot pieces, and we're not wasting that 1 foot piece. We're not paying for that 1 foot piece, because when we go to the store and we buy a 10-foot piece, we're paying for it by the foot. We're paying for that foot that we're throwing away. Okay. They're ordering it from the mill in a 9-foot piece. So we're not paying for those thousands of feet that had to go into the scrap pile because we didn't need it. Same thing with the plywood, same thing with everything. And because they're being built in a factory, everything has already been thought out. They can literally place the plywood. They can literally place the OSB to where they have minimal waste when they're putting this together. They can use the pieces that they're cutting off. They can literally pre-plan it to use those pieces someplace else. So we're saving money all across the board. And as you saw, we've got just a few people on site to put these modular units together when they come in on a truck. And as Bill said, longest thing is for us to build the foundation. We build the foundation. Once that is cured, and we know when it's going to cure because we know how long it takes concrete to cure. We have these units scheduled to come in order. Obviously, first floor comes in first, second floor comes in second, so on and so on. We have people on site who are putting these together. While they are putting them together, you can have electricians and plumbers also connecting everything together. Now, if you've got the units coming in where you have to put an elevation on the outside, that's an exterior, then that's the next step that you're going to do. And then it takes 2 days, maybe 3 days to get all the landscaping in place. It takes longer to do the landscaping than it does to build one of these units. You can build one of these houses that I just showed you in a day. You could actually build a few of these houses in a day if you have it scheduled right. You've got the crane there, you've got the people there, and you've got the trucks literally just coming in one right after another, and they're just picking them up and dropping them like Lego blocks. Now, we are way past time. We need to take a break, so we'll be back in just a minute. And we are back. And today we're talking about something that I love and Bill's into as well. So I'm sorry if we're going long, but I will talk about modular homes for days on end. Just ask anybody who I've done any of these projects with. I love modular homes. From the first time somebody showed me, and I loved it and went to the factory and learned even more about it. I really believe this is the future. I work with home builders right now, and this is the way many of them are turning to, is this in the 3D printed homes, which we're going to talk about on Thursday. This is the wave of the future because you are saving money and you are building a superior product. Now, so that we don't go too much over, I'm going to jump right into images that we have here, unless you had anything you wanted to say real quick, Bill.
No, I just wanted to add that not only if you really care about the environment, there's a lot of people that preach they care about the environment, but they don't do anything. Yeah, this is a way, if you care about the environment, to actually do something, because it eliminates so much waste. We end up, I noticed yesterday, I had seen a commercial that had Will Smith's son in it, and a bunch of other young celebrities, where they're talking about buy fewer clothes, wear the clothes longer, also that we don't waste. I go to that kind of BS. They want you to do that. They don't want to do that. But here's a way that if you really are serious about the environment, this is a way to be able to continue to provide what we need, be able to make a nice profit on it, and at the same time be able to use less material because you're using an exacting amount, just as we're going to talk about with the 3D printers, and have a great story. Remind me Thursday to tell you the Lockheed Martin 3D printer story when we get into that. So cool. That's what I have.
And it's an excellent point. There's also a lot less garbage and trash at the work site because this is all being done at the factory. At the factory, they're able to recycle that garbage a lot easier than we are on the site. The other thing too is we're not scarring up the land for as long. If you've ever been by a development, you'll notice that it's mud. They're working in dirt and mud until they get everything up and landscaping goes in last. We're getting all of this done in the course of maybe 2 weeks tops, and that includes having the landscaping in. So we're scarring up the land. We're making it look less nasty, much less than if we were doing a stick-built project. Now, Bill, I think you're going to love these images that I've got here for you. These are all multifamily properties that were built.
Wow.
So
that is fabulous.
And again, this type of building will go up in a matter of a day or two. And have the exterior on it in another couple of days and have the landscaping done in another couple of days. And we're talking about a turnaround time of people being able to move in a matter of weeks versus a matter of months. And that is where our most significant savings comes in, because we're not spending all the time for all those people to be on that work site all that time. We're not spending the money that we have to spend on our interest rates. We're not holding our loan for as long. We're able to go ahead and turn around. We get what's called a occupancy permit or a certificate of occupancy. We call them COs, certificate of occupancy. It's an occupancy permit. Really quick on this. And if we are building multiples of these in the same area, when the inspector comes in, he already knows. And it's really quick. He's got a punch list that he goes through really fast because he's already been in this and he knows exactly what he's looking for, and that it's modular and it's going to be easy for him to do. You can see the garages on the first floor of this one. This is a modular property. Townhouse.
This could easily be a mixed use property where you had commercial on the first floor and residence above.
Absolutely. You could put this on a hillside to where the second floor was up against a grade and you've got parking or storage on the other side. And yeah, first floor could be commercial, easy. And then you've got residential above it. I love those work, live types of situations where you have people who are actually able to live above their spaces. You can see how this is modular, but impressive looking structure. I mean, you can see the cubes going together, but this is what people like right now. This is very modern, very open, very airy, very bright, modular. And basically it's just a mirror image of each other. Goes up fast. Modular. And again, you can do whatever you want on the outside. You can see the snow on the foreground here. These work anywhere, not just warm climates, cold climates. They build modular in Alaska. They build modular in Hawaii. They build modular here in Florida. They build modular in Texas. Modular. This is a huge, huge building. Look at the size of this.
Wow.
You know, and this was done modular. Now, obviously, this will take more than a couple of days to do just to get all those trucks in, but this is modular. Good looking modular. This is a 4-unit townhouse setup. Okay. You could build these all day long. It takes a few days. You could put low-income housing families into these in any market in America, that will fit perfect. Again.
Yeah. And if you worry about this type of construction at all, if you've ever been on a cruise ship, you've been in modular container housing, because if you'll ever do any investigation on how cruise ships are built, and they've been built this way for many, many, many years, they literally make each suite, each stateroom is made on the ground, and they are slid into the ship hull skeleton, if you will, just like we're showing you here, just like building blocks, and they stack them up and stack them long, and but they are pre-built and then slid into their space on the ship, and you get some amazing results.
Yeah, if you've been in any modern office building or commercial building, you've probably been in, not every single one, but you've probably been in a building that was built modular. More traditional looking property here. Again, another big property, modular. This one right here, I think this is the last one. This is a commercial property. It's a hotel. It could just as easily be a single family property. That's the other thing about these modules. They're literally a blank slate. You can put whatever you want into these modules before you build them. This is a hotel that was built modular. Like I said, if you've stayed in any type of commercial property, if you've visited your doctor, whatever, you've probably been in a modular building and just didn't know it. Beauty of these things is they are built in a factory. They're quick to go up. They are super, super affordable. It does not cost any more for them to build them in a factory than it does on site. In fact, it costs less to do the factory than it does to build them on site, which is, again, benefit. And then we're turning around and we are delivering a product to a market that is in need, where we have a product that is in demand, and that is low-income housing. So we are going to profit from this, not only by not spending a lot of our money, but by providing something that's going to rent quickly and is going to rent for rents that we can almost pinpoint. Now we can look at the market, and there's a range of rents if we're just renting traditionally. Okay, there's a range of rents. If we are renting to Section 8, we pretty much know what we can get for our unit. If we are renting to a HUD program, we pretty much know what we can get for that specific unit. If we are looking at, like I said, a low-income program specifically, then we know exactly what we can get. If we're looking at low-income housing for a market, we know what that market is going to bear out based upon what is already existing there. And I say that is not a supported program. We have a lot of people who are not on a program, but are still in need of low-income housing. They still qualify based upon what their income would be. So last thought on this, really, before I turn it over to Bill, is if you do provide low-income housing, make it an appealing situation. A lot of people, they think that they can just be a slumlord and deliver the minimum. Don't do that. Give more, give back, and you are going to have better tenants, and you are going to be happier in the long run. I promise you. All right, it's all yours. I'm turning it over.
As we wrap this thing up, when you think about rental, especially in the low income environment, you're going to get a range that this is what these units rent for. However, you may appeal that, especially when you've put a nicer unit in the mix. So if you're building something that's new, you absolutely can go in, and sometimes you can get as much as 20% above the posted rate, but because you've delivered a higher quality product. So you're not trapped into that environment. It is a suggested range. But what most people don't even know they can do, is that they can appeal to the housing authority and say, hey, take a look at this property and we'd like to get more on this. And here's how much more we'd like to get. And, you know, if you come out with 5% more than you had going in, it's a win-win situation. So if you don't ask, you don't get. And this is a great way. Modular is a terrific way, not only to fill this need, but to bump up and get bonus premium money on top of the need.
And this can be built on infill. I was looking at infills in Orlando over the weekend. By the way, Bob Saget died this weekend too. So rest in peace, Bob Saget. And he died in Orlando. I was looking at infill lots that go from 5,000 to 20,000 is what most of them I was looking at. The most expensive one that I even considered was $59,000, and that's because it was on a lake, and it's a high-end premium lot. Obviously, there are lots that go for more. Here in Palm Beach, there's lots that sell for $7 and $8 million that are on the water. But if you can get a lot for $5,000 and you could build one of these properties on here, I mean, you should be hearing in your head, it should be going cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. This is something that the community will get behind you on as well. This is something that the city that you're building this in will bend over backwards to accommodate you, because they don't like those vacant lots. If you're filling up a vacant lot, they're much happier than you tearing something down and putting something there. So look for these infill lots, look for these spaces to do developments. A lot of these were big buildings that we looked at. If you've got 4, 5, 6, 10 acres that you can build some of these on, do it. Imagine how much housing you can provide by building some of these modular units on a 10-acre lot of land with enough parking for each of the units. I love these concepts. I love these ideas. And we are going to next show be talking about 3D printing. We're going to hear the Lockheed Martin story from Bill. Yep. And I am focusing, one of my big focuses this year is on 3D printing for homes. So something to look forward to. Bill, unless you've got something else to say, let's get the heck out of here and get on with our days.
Hey,
we'll
happy investing, all of
you guys again.
Thanks for being here.
Thursday, happy investing.